How's it going, everybody? RyeSquad here today, and we are back with your Kansas City Royals, ready to get started in year number 4. And guys, so far so good. We've been on a pretty linear trajectory. Winning 80 games in the first season, came close, but kind of fell off towards the end of making the playoffs. The very next season, we lost in the ALDS after winning 90 games. This past season, we won 91, so slightly better. So I guess you could say we've done better every year. And we did make it to the ALCS and won the division as expected of us. We're in our second year of another contract, I guess. I turned GM contracts off because I didn't want to get fired because, we made the ALDS. We just didn't win the division against the Twins, who I think went to back-to-back World Series. So I'm not going to consider that too much of a negative for us, but we've got to keep it going, guys. I think at this point we should be considered one of the best teams in the league, should be getting one of the top seeds in the AL, and probably should be making an appearance in the World Series this year. I'm not going to say we should be winning it because I still think there are areas that need to be improved on the roster, but I think all in all, we're a really, really good team. And I want to take a look here at the starting pitchers. We'll take a look at the entire 26-man opening day roster in just a second because we're towards the end of spring training. The last thing I want to do here is talk about the long reliever role. And I know I've mentioned Asa Lacy potentially coming up in the past. He's the closest guy we have to being able to push Daniel Lynch out of the MLB roster. But I think that Daniel Lynch's breakout, I should say, his attributes, they'll align themselves better to what I need out of my long reliever. I know Asa Lacy's got good stamina, good velocity, he's a strikeout guy, but I feel like if we're calling in a long reliever, we just need somebody to steady the ship. We don't need somebody to come in and punch out a bunch of dudes. We just need to get through innings, and I feel like that's what Daniel Lynch is going to be able to do more so than Asa Lacy. So I think I am going to send Asa Lacy down. He's got one more minor league option to use, so next season we'll have to make a real decision here. I think Asa Lacy should surpass Daniel Lynch by the end of the season, so that's the plan there. So he is going to be moved to the AAA. I'm going to set up the AAA and the AA. As you guys can see, things aren't exactly perfect, but we do have our 26-man roster for the MLB, so why don't we take a look at the pitching rotation and the lineup. And the rotation, guys, you know the new name here. It's Tristan McKenzie, an all-star from last season, A potential, 87-29. The guy is a machine, 200 innings every season, coming off of his best year in the sim, but he did have a 3.19 ERA in the first year. I mean, the guy is just really good. Oh, and by the way, he's our 3. Chris Paddock moves down to the 4. Trevor Rogers moves up to the number 2. Obviously, these guys it's pretty fluid, but having a righty with Zach Gallen, then a lefty. And then Bobby Herman, the reigning Cy Young Rookie of the Year, all-star. It's amazing. I love to see a guy that we drafted pay dividends so quickly in a save. And I love our starting rotation with Daniel Lynch coming out in the long reliever role. Then taking a look at the bullpen, what I consider the true bullpen, Daniel Lynch is a 6th starter to me. We've got Jason Adam, who we just brought in this year. He is 35, but for a 1-year, $4.5 million deal, he pitched phenomenally every year. But the first year, he got traded in that year, so who knows what happened, but I think he looks really good. Phil Matten as well, and Mariano Diaz, as well as Scott Barlow. All 4 of those guys are middle relievers. In the setup role, we got Sandlin and Jose Leclerc, and then we put Jojo Romero in the closer's role. So we have a new closer this year. Jose Leclerc was our closer, for the most part. This year, it is going to be Jojo Romero. I like the way he looks. He doesn't have as good pitching clutch, but he does prevent home runs. He gives up a few more walks, but he's better at avoiding strong contact and getting players out. And I feel like at this point, Jose Leclerc should be shifting to that setup man role. He's a few years older now, 33. Still got enough left in the tank. Obviously, I'm not worried about him massively falling off, and we have to manage to find a way to get out of that $6.5 million contract, but him in the setup role with Nick Sandlin, I think these two guys, they're both phenomenal. Sandlin has been great every season he's been here, and I'm pretty sure he's been in that setup man role with the 31 and the 41 innings pitched. Jose Leclerc last year, not pitching as the closer, 24 saves, 8 blown saves. He really did lose the job. So as a setup man, I think it's perfect for him. And then Mariano Diaz is the guy waiting in the wings. 70 innings pitched. Wasn't phenomenal, but he also, is only 22. Think he's got a lot of room to grow. Taking a look at the lineup now, the batters and the fielders. We obviously have Bobby Witt. He's batting leadoff, followed by Riley Green and Luis Arraez. I think it's a great 1-2-3, followed by Tristan Casas with some power, Vinny Pasquantino with some power as well. You can see that these two guys are going to be splitting first and the DH role. Harrison Alonso is playing against righties, so he is going to get the majority of the starts rather than Tommy Edman. Tommy Edman will be playing, I believe, against lefties. Yep, there he is. He's playing center against lefties, but we made that big trade for the young Harrison Alonso, a potential 22. Really strong bat, 77 contact against righties, 79 against lefties, and then 71 power against righties. So 77, 71 against righties here with 63 vision. Clutch is 75, so it's not going to really drop that contact by almost anything. And he just needs to work on the discipline a little bit, but he gives us a better bat, especially against righties, than Tommy Edman. Now, he's a much worse fielder, so maybe I don't want him playing center field. Maybe Tyler O'Neill should be playing center field. Harrison Alonso there in left, Tyler O'Neill in center against righties. Colt Keith retains the third base role. Obviously, we moved on from Brooks Lee in the offseason, so it is Colt Keith's job. And then Freddie Furman is still our catcher. Blake Mitchell is looking really, really good, though, at just 22, 78 B potential. The bat's there, the fielding's there. Everything just needs to grow a little bit. Good news for us is we still got Freddie Furman for 3 more years, including this one at $1.5 million. Again, against lefties, the only thing that changes is Nolan Gorman slots in at the DH. Vinny Pasquantino does get benched, and we bring Luis Arraez into second, Colt Keith at third. And we do bring in Tommy Edman at center. So interesting to see that they are choosing to go with Nolan Gorman, who is not playing here against righties. He's got the power against righties. I don't know. Against lefties, he is pretty good, though. Again, I don't know what to do with this guy. He dropped in potential. We traded for him. He did have a pretty good season. It's nothing to, spectacular. So I don't know. Maybe him over Arraez if we need more power. I don't think I want to play him over Vinny Pasquantino. As you can see there, he's got more power here, but the vision's way worse. I think Vinny Pasquantino has earned that role as the DH against righties. He does against lefties, though, drop to the bench as, Nolan Gorman is much better against lefties, so I'm okay with this. Kyle Isbell is our backup outfielder. Harrison Alonso and Edman are platooning, and then Blake Mitchell is the backup catcher. I'm happy with this. We can move people all around. Gorman, when a guy needs a rest, like Arraez needs a rest, he can play second, or, if Colt Keith needs a rest, I think he can play third. Yep, absolutely he can. He's got good accuracy too, not the best arm, but it's just for a day or two. So I'm very happy with how the team looks. Let's get to the regular season, see our ranks, and then we can go ahead and see how we start off the first half of the season. And just one thing to jump back in here before we get to the opening day. Tyler O'Neill is expiring here. He's looking for about $10 million for a couple years. I think we'll just use him for this season, see how he does, maybe extend him in the offseason. But we also have Harrison Alonso as a guy that can, hopefully step up and fill his shoes next season. He's been phenomenal for us pretty much every year. He's gotten better and better. Well, I shouldn't say that. He was 840 down to 812, but he did get a better batting average, one more home run, right? He's solid. He's great. We know he's a very, very good player, a quality contributor to the team. I'm not feeling any pressure to extend any of these guys right now. We'll see how they do throughout the season to make a decision. I don't want to trade Tyler O'Neill midseason because I know he's going to be pretty good because he's been good. If it makes sense, maybe for some stud that goes on the trade block, right? Nobody's there now because we're in spring training. But if somebody does pop up and we got to move O'Neill to do it, maybe we do it, but for now, I want to use him, let him mentor Harrison Alonso, and then Harrison Alonso can go ahead and play left next season. So we are here at the start of the regular season. We do start against Texas, who was the 1 seed in AL last year, but just a quick update on our rank. We are the first overall team, obviously first pitching. I say obviously, I find it hard to believe that the AI has put together a pitching rotation quite as star-studded as ours. Our contact and power are second and fourth, so top 5 in both batting attributes, a top 10 defensive unit, and the only place we're lacking is speed, which is nice to have for me, but speed is the one that I'm willing to sacrifice. If we can get the power and the contact and defense and pitching, I'll gladly sacrifice that 5th attribute there in speed. Obviously, if we can be top 10 in everything, I'd love it, right? But I can only find so many power hitters that can fly across the base path. So, honestly, guys, we are poised for a very, very good season, and I'd be surprised if we don't end up winning the division again. Things would probably be going horribly wrong, massive injuries and a lot of things like that, but it's time to stop talking about it. Let's go see how it goes. Start of the regular season coming up. And a quick update, guys. I've just kind of been putzing around here. We're through the first week, and it's time to do scouting, so I had to stop anyway. But Jeff Tanaka is ranked as the #1 prospect in all of baseball. And then Saul Farrell is ranked as the #2 prospect in all of baseball. So not only do we have a team that's ranked first in the MLB and are probably considered the favorites for the World Series, considering we're ranked #1. We also have the #1 and #2 prospects. Down here, you can see Carmen Francisco. They've got ranked as #12. Max Clark, the center fielder. I believe we traded for Max Clark, but he is the 16th ranked prospect. Fabio Manzanillo is the 19th ranked prospect. Oh my goodness. Leonard Enright, 29th. Ray Enriquez, our first baseman. He's still got a long way to go, but he's ranked 37th. Julio Villalobos, our starting pitcher prospect, is 39th. So you guys can see that our starting pitchers have kind of fallen off a bit as far as who's ready when. As far as Jeff Tanaka, they're saying is going to be ready by 2027. Saul Farrell by 2028. So Clark and Tanaka could be coming up in 2027. Same thing with Julio Villalobos. It is currently 2027. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't think these guys are quite ready to see the MLB. Maybe when we expand the roster, we will call up Jeff Tanaka, but he looks like a stud of a catcher. I'm excited to see how he continues to grow. He's going to stay there in AA and hopefully continue to grow. But man, our prospect pipeline is looking rich. So we have reached the end of April, beginning of May, and things are going well. They're not going nearly as well as last season. Last season, I think we were 14 games above 500 at this same point. This season, we're still 10 games above 500, and the Twins are back where the Twins have been, and they're a thorn in our side. They've got the best power, and you can see they're slugging at 505 is indicative. 505 slugging. I mean, that's got to cool off at some point, right? Like, nobody else in baseball has anything close. I mean, I guess the Dodgers at 507, sure, but man, that's gotta cool off. Yeah, 507, but 487. It'll probably cool off a bit. For us, our ERA is at a 4.48, and with our pitching supposedly the best part about our team, having an ERA of 4.48 is quite concerning. So let's take a look here. Asa Lacy was hit hard in AAA, not great. Matt Clark though swung a hot bat. Lyle Cortez, great month for him. Saul Farrell had a really good month as well. These are names that we want to get used to and see very often. Tristan Casas, now up to a 90 overall. So he's lost 3 discipline, lost 1 in contact, but gained 2 power against lefties and a little bit better on the base paths. Tristan McKenzie, oh my word. He is growing. He's getting better, but he is not pitching well at all. Neither is Trevor Rogers. Bobby Herman, still doing Bobby Herman type things here, guys. Wow. Okay, so interesting to see that both McKenzie and Rogers are struggling to start the season. It's too early yet to say anything, but it's good to see Jojo Romero with 12 saves and none blown so far. Wow, Mariano Diaz not done well in his 8 innings, but Jose Leclerc has done great as a setup man, and so has Nick Sandlin. No, not nearly as well for Nick Sandlin. Wow, Jesus, our entire organization's worth of catchers are cold. Casas is cold. I guess Luis Arias is hitting well. Nolan Gorman's not hitting much. Colt Keith is hitting well, though. He is hot. Bobby Witt is hot, which is good to see. Tyler O'Neill is cold. Tommy Edman, Kyle Isbell, and then Riley Green, and then Harrison Alonso is cold. So, again, to see how many players are cold on our roster and have yet to really get going, for us to be tied with the Twins, a half game back, I feel like that's a win. I feel like I'm fine with this. I'm not pushing the panic button yet. We just need to get everybody rolling again. It's early. Guys have barely had 100 at-bats. Let's not push the panic button. And besides, tied at 22 wins for the best record in the AL is absolutely not a failure whatsoever. I mean, guys, come on. We're tied up here at the top with the Rays, half a game back of the Twins. There's still a long way to go. The Phillies are just a dynasty at this point, guys. That's crazy. We got to contend with them. But so far, so good, and we haven't even hit our stride, so that is promising. Now at the end of May, guys, we are 3 games ahead of the Twins, and we are continuing at our 63 win percentage pace. The Twins did drop off a bit. They were right there with us in the win percentage. I believe we were a little bit higher. I think we were like 22-12 or 24-12 after the first. Yeah, no, we were 10 games over 500, so we were like 22-12. So that would be a win percentage of 647. We've cooled off a little bit. It's been pretty streaky. I'll show you guys the calendar. We got really hot here. I mean, holy moly. We won 5 of 6 in a week, and then 6 of 6. So we won 11 of 12. Yeah, we won 11 of 12 in this stretch here before losing this one to Seattle. But we are winning series, which are good to see. Didn't win this series against Minnesota, which would have been great, but it didn't matter because we turned it on after that. We really started to focus up, and now sitting at 63%. The Rays are crazy, 3 games ahead of us, and the Rangers are 6 games behind us. So again, it's the Rays and the Blue Jays that are right there with us down the stretch. The Rangers, not quite as lofty as they were last season. You know, I think they finished with like mid-90s in wins. The 5th-ranked team, though, I'm not going to sleep on them whatsoever. The Rays and the Blue Jays are seemingly taking over the AL East. The Orioles in a battle there in the wild card. They're battling with the team like the Red Sox, who are 3 games behind them, but are under 500. So Blue Jays, Twins, and Orioles are your AL wildcard, though. At 38 wins, you know, the Phillies, we're right there with them. We're right there with the Pirates, who are atop the NL Central, and then the Dodgers and Diamondbacks right in there as well. So you guys can see we are a really good team. We're not nearly as dominant as the Rays, who don't have contact, but they've got the rest. They've got speed, so power and speed, I guess, is what they have been focusing on, and it seems to be paying off for them. Let's take a look at our roster. I'm not worried about Jesus Lopez or Luca Tresh. Taylor Rashi, not worried about him. Asa Lacy was hit hard yet again. Brandon McNair tore it up in May, which is good. Nick Prado had an outstanding month down there in AAA. Love to see that. Jake McSteen, and then Beck Way. So honestly, Asa Lacy getting absolutely obliterated here. Oh my God, he's 51 innings pitched. 829. He is dropping off. So what we're going to do is we're going to move him down to AA. He's certainly not cutting it here in AAA. Caderna, Villalobos is. James Dunham, I think, has played well enough for him to get the call up to AAA there. I think that's absolutely fine. Kevin Garcia, Steven Darth, you know, he's got that crazy good potential. We'll see if he can even get close to it. Saul Farrell, who's the number 2 prospect in all of baseball, is pitching well. 287 there in AA. So honestly, guys, things are looking good all around. Let's just go through the roster real quick like this again. So Gallen's still pitching well. McKenzie has improved. Paddock's pitching well. Rogers has improved. And Bobby Herman, he's not getting the wins this season, but he's still pitching like we know Bobby Herman can pitch. He's actually improved on last season. He's just 9 quality starts in 12 total starts is insanely good. His WAR is already 1.3 through 2 months, and he's pitching way better. We're just not hitting well enough when Bobby Herman is on the mound. So that's something that, you know, maybe he can push for a back-to-back Cy Young, but he needs to start getting wins because that factors in a lot in terms of how he does. In the bullpen, Jojo Romero still doing well in the closer role. 3 blown saves, though. Dislike that. 17 total saves. Nick Sandlin not pitching well. Jason Adam is. Phil Matten is not. And Scott Barlow is not. Our bullpen is ranked number 1 in all of baseball, but they are certainly not pitching well so far this season. Although things can change. Barlow's only pitched 10 innings. I think he's probably, I don't know how many runs he's allowed, but it's been, 8.1 ERA in 10 innings. I can't exactly fault him for that ERA. You just got to take that with a grain of salt. As far as catchers, Freddie Fermin batting 260. Blake Mitchell's not hitting well at all, but he is developing nicely. I mean, +1 across the board. Something you love to see. Jeff Tanaka, no longer is cold and is growing. You can see he's really developing that fielding. I'd love to see him develop one of the contacts. Let's see if I can get him catcher. Yeah, Jeff Tanaka. Hitting coach sessions. No. I want him working on the batting cages. I want that contact to grow. He's got a good enough in the power, I'd say. I'd say his fielding's even good enough right now. So straight up, just get in the batting cages, just work on that contact. That's all I want to see from Jeff Tanaka. He'll be a complete catcher if he can just work on one of the 2 batting attributes. I think for now I'll want contact more than power, but we can work on power later. Anyway, going back to seeing how everybody is doing. Tristan Casas batting 253 with 8 home runs and 200 at-bats. So not exactly the power we were hoping for. His average is returned back to where it was 2 seasons ago. OPS has really fallen off there. His at-bats per home run is crazy low now, 24.8. I mean, this is a guy we gave up a lot to get. I wanted more out of him here. Vinny Pasquantino is also on the IL, so Tristan Casas is it's really his time to shine. Nolan Gorman, batting 288 and 111 at-bats, 311 there for Luis Arraez. Good to see that. Nolan Gorman, I'm not utilizing him well, but he is starting to grow again, so maybe this is a bit more simplified role. He's only 26, and Luis Arraez's contract is up in just a couple seasons. We can always move on from him and let Nolan Gorman take second base back, but for now, I'm really liking the way Arraez has played ever since he got here. He's been phenomenal for us in both seasons. Third base, Colt Keith, doing well. 296 is great. 9 home runs is great. I'll take the 35 RBIs as well. Bobby Witt doing Bobby Witt things. 15 home runs, 40 RBIs. Jeepers. He is having a great year. Tyler O'Neill is back. His batting average has improved back to closer to where we want it to be. The OPS, very similar to where it was last season. 9 home runs as well already is great. Tommy Edman batting well. Ooh, look at Max Clark up to a 72 now. Look at that batting has flown up. Like I said, and this is another guy that I think is an adequate fielder. Just work on the hitting, and I'll be ready to call him up. Riley Green batting 313, only 8 home runs. He's not much of a power guy, but man, that batting average continues to improve. The OPS is not in the 900s like it was last year, but it's 887, can easily get there. Harrison Alonso not growing, which isn't great to see that. Batting 228, not great. Batting, OPS sub 600 is horrendous. And we're just trying to give him some time. So, honestly, guys, for us to be 3 games up on the Twins, we're at the start of June. We got another month to go, and then we got the draft. I'm very satisfied with how things are going. They're kind of going how I expected. It's been more like average. We've not gotten hot and cold like we did last year. We're just a good team. We just are. So let's see if we can keep it going in June, really stake our claim on the division, push for the 1 seed in AL, get up to the draft, and hopefully acquire, we play the Twins, 10 times in the month of July? This is a huge month, a perfect month to get hot. Wow, we are now at the end of June. Guys, that was a horrible month. Absolutely imploded. Now 3 games back of the Twins at 50 wins. We're still better than anybody in the AL West. I guess we cooled off to more of a normal where everybody else is at 50 wins, but we should be one of these teams in the mid 50s, not sitting at right smack dab at 50. Our pitching has not been good enough. 406. The Twins are getting 360 as their ERA. Let's see who pitched well, who didn't. Our bullpen's been really, really poor. That is one area that I've noticed that nobody is pitching well. We are on fire for the most part. Zach Gallen is cold right now. McKenzie's gotten hot. So is Paddock. Trevor Rogers is pitching. Yeah, has he fallen off hard? It may be time to move on from Trevor Rogers and just start fresh there. Bobby Herman is 20 years old. That is absolutely ridiculous to me that he won the Cy Young as a teenager. I think it might be time to move on from Trevor Rogers, guys. He's been improving slightly, but this is now back-to-back seasons where he has fallen off. His overall is dropping. His potential is dropping. I think it's just time to move on. And then the bullpen, Nick Sandlin, 771 is not good. I mean, Adams pitching fine. Matten, I'd like to see better. Barlow's pitching poorly. Leclerc's fine and Diaz is fine, but we got a couple bullpen arms like Nick Sandlin here, who's an 84, paying him $3.2 million. I mean, he's having a horrible, horrible year, and it's him. It's not anything fielding. It's not getting unlucky. He is just pitching really, really poorly. Looking at the bats, our catchers are cold again. Our catchers call them Mr. Snow Miser because they are just awful right now. Tristan Casas has gotten hot though. 16 home runs now. How's that home runs per at bat? Is it better than 24? It's down to 18. So he's been going yard a little bit here. Nolan Gorman playing very, very well. He's an all-star. Luis Arraez has gotten cold. Colt Keith has gotten cold. Bobby Witt is an all-star. Tyler O'Neill batting like we know Tyler O'Neill does. A little bit less, in the average, but his OPS is back, so we've gotten a little bit more power. Tommy Edman has gotten hot, which is really nice to see. He's batting 327, so we are really getting the most out of him, having him platoon with Harrison Alonso, who also has gotten hot, is now up to a 79, seeing that contact grow. Riley Green continues to be great. So, honestly, guys, as a team, I don't know where we stand. It may be time to maybe make a trade at the end of this one. They have put Luis Robert Jr. on the trade block and have immediately pulled him off. But Sal Frelick here, really solid fielder, can play infield or outfield. Don't know if fielding is what I need right now. Let's actually take a look. What are we doing wrong as a team? Team rankings. We have the second best batting average in the major leagues. Yeah, that is fine. The Twins are there at 277. At bats, we're getting a lot of them. We've got a lot of hits. Our runs, we're not converting our hits into runs as much, so that's a bit disappointing. Doubles, triples, home runs. The Twins do lead the majors in power, right? They were the #1 power team, so there's that coming into play. As far as us, we're tied for 15th. Now, that might be a ballpark thing. I don't know the ballpark factor for the Kansas City Royals. I should know that. We're in season 4 of this series, so yeah, I should probably have known that by now, but I don't, unfortunately, so I can't tell you if that's due to that or just our play. Stolen bases, we're still doing fine. Bobby Witt with 23, love to see that. Caught stealing, we have not been, we've been caught stealing quite a bit, so we are pretty aggressive on the base paths there. If we take a look, we should be towards the bottom as far as percentage. No, we're going to be right about middle of the road at 13th, so that's fine with me. Oh, I just saw MJ Melendez for the Red Sox was there. Strikeouts, we striking out a lot? Nope, we are not striking out a lot. Slugging percentage, again, still fine there. I want to say it's probably our team ERA. Our team errors, this could be a fielding percentage. There we go. That should be a good one. The Twins have a worse fielding percentage than we do. Yeah, we're fine at 17th. I'd like it to be better, but it's not the end of the world. ERA. ERA is the big one. 3.60. So the Twins are raking with home runs, and they've got 3.6 ERA as a team. We are right about in the middle, and for the pitching staff that we've put together, that is horrible. That is not what you want to see. I guess the Dodgers are kind of in the same boat with us with Yamamoto, Ohtani, and Fried. I mean, that is a great 1, 2, 3 right there. They're not doing the greatest either at 405. So as a team, I feel like we need to improve that. Saves, blown saves. Do we have a lot of blown saves? Yes, we do. Okay. Tied for 24th in blown saves. 14 of them. So something needs to improve in the bullpen. We have got the best bullpen in baseball, but clearly it's not working. Runs allowed. Where are we there? We're 15th, so we're not doing the best at keeping runs off the board. It really is our defense. Is it home runs allowed? Are we allowing a lot of home runs? We are. We're allowing a lot of home runs and not hitting a lot of home runs. 117 allowed so far. Tied for 23rd. Not the best. We are not walking players. And we're striking them out. So when they hit, they go yard, but we're not letting them get many hits, I think. Hits allowed. Are we towards the bottom or the top? We're right smack dab in the middle. So really, I think we're just letting our bullpen, I think, is letting guys go yard. Because walks and strikeouts, we are leading the league, right? Fewest walks allowed, most strikeouts from our pitchers. I mean, it's fantastic. Tristan McKenzie is doing his thing there. So is Bobby Herman, but the winning is just not there. So I don't know, guys. I just threw a lot of stuff at you. I'm going to need you down in the comment section to let me know. But we now have to get up to the draft. We've got one more week's worth of scouting to do. I think we're fine to keep it rolling with another week of the scouting setup. Let's go ahead and get to the end of the week. Jared Triolo gets acquired by the Pirates from the Reds, so an in-division trade for a bunch of guys in the 60s in their young 20s, 22, 23, 24. Okay, it's a win now trade from the Pirates. Lane Thomas goes from the Tigers to the Orioles. Some trades are happening now. So, I mean, he's out of the division, which I guess is good, but the Orioles are still a good team, and they get even better. And we do lose the series to the Twins, which sucks because we are behind them. The Diamondbacks want to give me relief pitcher Penn Murphy. He's dropping off. He's pitching pretty well, to be fair. He is pitching well. And center field prospect, deep potential for my star closer, who's growing and pitching really, really well. And, no, this is an absolutely no from me. We do smoke the Baltimore Orioles, though. No, it's the futures game. And there we go. We do beat them again. Let's go to the draft. Add the prospects. Obviously, we're not going to get any of these guys. We'll just go ahead. I will make sure to keep an eye on the timer this time. But yeah, so I think I'm not overly concerned about the team's performance. I guess I probably shouldn't have jumped in the draft right away, but I'm not overly concerned about the performance. We're still in there. We're still a top team in the AL, and we just kind of need to get things right. There's a tweak or two I know we need to make. and then we'll really start taking off. I'm not sure what that tweak or two is. I'll take a look at the WAR after this, too. One of the things I didn't look at were runs created in WAR. I do think it's the bullpen. The bullpen feels like the area where the players are pitching the worst. But anyway, the Cubs, Rockies, and I believe the Giants are the first 3 picks in this year's draft. Tyrell Zeimer here. We didn't really scout him, but a shortstop who's 21. From our 10% scouting, he looks pretty good. We and the MLB rank him 4th, but he goes number 1 overall to the Cubs. Next up, to the Colorado Rockies, who are going to be up here a lot, are Juan Villegas. We have him ranked 8th. The draft ranks him 2nd. His overall looks to be pretty high, but the potential is kind of lacking. But honestly, for a team like the Rockies that need something right now, that's not too bad of a pick. And finally, I believe it's the San Francisco Giants. At number 3 are going to take Ken Henderson. We have him ranked 11th. They have him ranked 6th in the MLB. Another solid prospect. Again, I think there's probably better players out there, but a really solid starting pitcher here. He's solid. He maybe could even be better than what that overall and potential say he is. But now let's go ahead and get to our pick. We have 4 minutes on the clock. Let's get to our scouted players. We have Roger Clark ranked here. We only have 50% scouted. Could be pretty poor. He is only 18. There's also a guy like Richie Schaefer here, who we have him ranked at 24th. I mean, we have this guy ranked at 7th, Roger Clark. And we get another pick at 31, so there's a chance that some of these guys fall to us. Interesting to see that there's not a ton of tremendous, like, slam dunk prospects, which scares me about this draft class. But I think I will want to take Richie Schaefer here, the third baseman, 19 years old. Looks like he's going to have a really good bat and great speed. So I like to see that. He's German. Richie Schaefer here. 53 to 72, 73 to 92 is his potential. Can also play second. I think we'll go after Roger Clark in the next round if he's there. If not, I think there's other starting pitchers we can go after. There's also Albert Soto if none of the starting pitchers are really, fitting the bill for us. But Richie Schaefer, the third baseman, he does want to sign with us too, so that is good news. 60% interest. We are going to draft him. Richie Schaefer, 80% scouted out of high school, 53-72 overall, 73-92 potential. Let's jump to our next pick. We have 4 minutes on the clock. We have the prospect promotion incentive rounds. This is from Bobby Herman, and Roger Clark is there, and I feel like I want to take him. I feel like I do. There's other guys here, but we have him ranked 7th overall. I know we've only scouted him 50%. He's from Pennsylvania. His stamina, his hits per 9. I mean, he looks really well-rounded. The walks per 9 and the hits per 9 are great. Strikeouts, would love to see that be a little bit better, but hey, only 50% scouted. I think we do it. I think we take him. He's a righty. Add another starting pitcher to the pipeline. Let's do it. Hopefully that potential's in the higher range there. Overall, hoping it's in the higher range too at 18. Maybe we got another Bobby Herman in the system here. At our next pick here, we have another 4 minutes. There's another starting pitcher here. We have him ranked 27th. He's not ranked by the MLB. 72 to 91, 48 to 67 from the Dominican Republic. Looks like a really, really good pitcher. He's got good control of his stuff. As far as other players here, I'm looking. I don't really see anybody jumping off the page at me as somebody I have to go after. Although Miguel Gomez here could have some really, really good potential. His contact is great. His speed is great. I think I want to take this guy, this right fielder. We got a pick at 73. The other guy was not ranked, so I think I'm going to take Miguel Gomez, the right fielder here. I think it makes the most sense. 80% scouted, pretty good potential range, pretty good overall range. Not loving what this draft class is offering so far, but hey, I was not in love with last year's draft class, and there was a lot of light blue. All right, our next pick, we have 4 minutes as well, and Domingo Merced is still there. We have him ranked 27th. He's got 72-91 potential. Overall is a little bit lower, but he's 18, coming out of the high school from the Dominican Republic. He's got plenty of time to develop. Again, we've already analyzed this guy. I think I'm going to take him now. Go ahead and draft Domingo Merced, and there we go. We are now through the first 2 rounds. Sim to our next pick. We only have a minute here. Here's another starting pitcher with some pretty good potential. Do we want to look potentially at something else? Another third baseman here, right fielder, second baseman. Julio, no. I think I want to take another starting pitcher here. John Calvert looks really good. He is a lefty as well. He's got some really, really good future stuff too. Love to see that. 95% scouted too. So we are going to take John Calvert here. Again, 71-87 potential is great. Overall looks pretty good as well. I don't want to dilly-dally too long here. We only have a minute. And let's see. Is that second baseman still down here? I don't see him. I don't see any of them. So let's take a look. Potentially a stud third baseman here. Potential of 76-95. That could be crazy. There's the starting pitcher too, who, they're both looking really good. Roger Gund from the Netherlands. No, I mean, I don't like the look of his makeup. There's Charles Oka from Japan. The pitcher here doesn't look like he's got tremendous potential. There's also Daryl Tracy. Really good strikeout pitcher too. Maybe somebody, you know what? I think I'd like to take this guy. He's ranked 55th. We're at pick 132. We do have 2 more picks, so we'll take Daryl Tracy. I think that's our 3rd starting pitcher taken. I don't feel any pressure to continue to get starting pitchers. What do we have here? The Roger Gund, I didn't like his look, right? The way he looks. So maybe we look at guys that we haven't scouted. Scouted. Who do they? Okay, so we really have only 2 top 100 players left. Charles Oka here, he's solid enough. I might take him with the 192nd pick. I think I would like to take Roger Gund here, as a swing on another fielder. Actually, you know what? No, I'm taking Charles Oka. We're doing that. He looks solid. He's nothing flashy, but he's another solid arm to add to the pipeline here. And our final pick will be, oh God, there's not too many guys we have scouted left. All remaining players. There's a center fielder here in Elmer Zapata. I mean, fantastic speed. He's one of those speed guys that doesn't have a great bat, although his contact's not bad. None of these guys seem to have good potential either, except for Adrian Ramirez, 72-97 potential. I might as well take another swing on a guy like this. 18 years old. If he's got tremendous potential, he's got tremendous potential. And there's another starting pitcher. So we got a bunch of them. I did feel like we were starting to run out of starting pitcher potential players. Plus, a lot of guys we have now are in their early 20s. Not quite good enough, and we can move them on to fill out the rest of the roster where we need it to be. Sim to the Royals' next pick. It is over. It is the end of the draft, and there we go. Trade block. Somebody's back on the trade block. Luis Robert is not on the trade block, but there's guys like Stone Garrett here. Really strong, in certain aspects. Randy Arozarena for the Rangers is batting better than he was. He was sub 200 the last time they put him on the trade block, but maybe it's just a tactic by them. There's also Sal Frelick, Willie Castro. There's quite a few names here that we could end up going after. But I mean, right now, I really think it's the bullpen. Joe Barlow here from our former player from when? I don't know why. He's got a Kansas City Royals picture on, but he played for Texas and the White Sox. Maybe we got rid of him early. I don't know, but he's pitched really, really well. Bring him back. He's in a Royals uniform. I don't think it's going to take much to acquire him. What do they want? They want Larry Clement. I would do this deal in a heartbeat, guys. Absolutely. Jordan Adams, Tino Peralta, Monty McClure, they're not getting him. But Brian Mata, I'd give him Brian Mata. I'd give him Beck Way. Screw it, I'd give him Beck Way. Brian Mata, we'd save some money. But yeah, I feel like all of those trades are pretty easy, and then we would just move on from some of our relief pitchers. Harrison Bader here, decent. I mean, there's lots of options for us in the trade market. Some good salaries out here too. Jackson Merrill, really young center fielder, but he's not much of a batter. Again, batting is not necessarily what we need. What we need is better pitching. Everybody's willing to give up hitting. Nobody's willing to give up pitching. Geez, where's the best pitcher? It's Eduardo Rodriguez here is the number 1 pitcher on the trade block. Not great. Really, really not great to see those guys there. So we're going to have to make our own trade if we wanted to do anything. Tell me it's nobody big. Tyler O'Neill, okay, pull the back muscle. He's back already, though. That's great news. And then as far as all-star voting, we're missing out. We don't have anybody leading. Normally it's Bobby Witts to lose there at short, and it's Bo Bichette right now. So that's not great to see. It's not great to see so many Twins either. I'm starting to hate the Twins. IRL, like I'll just be checking the MLB app. I'm like, oh, the Twins won, and I get mad about it. No idea why. They have nothing to do with me. I'm a Red Sox fan, so really no problem with the Twins head to head. So I guess, I don't know. This is starting to spill over into IRL. I'm starting to really hate the Twins. They're becoming a real pain in my backside. We are 2 games back, though. Our ERA is got to get better. Our slugging has got to get better. Our batting average is good. Our fielding is fine. On base, right? That's really where they have the advantage, is the pitching and the slugging. And you can see that their pitching is just dominant right now. Their runs against, 429. We've allowed the most runs in all of baseball right now. In all of our division. The only team right now with higher runs against, is the Yankees. We just need to improve. I don't know how we can improve our pitching from second. Obviously, something's got to change. When it comes to starting pitchers, our ERA is not great. Trevor Rogers, I think, is going to be the odd man out. Scott Barlow and Nick Sandlin, they need to improve. And then, other than that, I feel like if we move on from Trevor Rogers, listen, he's been good. I don't want to say he's the reason we're not doing well. He's got 10 quality starts and 19 games started, so it's over 50%. I'd like that to be closer to 2/3. He was really good last year with 18 of those in 32. I don't know. He's never really been a good win-loss pitcher either. Don't know if that's his fault per se, but I think if we're going to make a move, it's going to be Trevor Rogers on his way out. Bringing in maybe another starting pitcher who, maybe another lefty, right? A lefty for lefty kind of trade, pitching rotation. We've got 2 of those in Rogers and Herman here. They keep rearranging this. Tristan McKenzie's still growing. Chris Paddock is average. He's certainly not worth the $15 million. Man, our whole pitching staff is just kind of collapsed despite how good it is. And I guess I really don't know what to say, guys. I'm going to need your help down in the comments on this one, but that's all the time I have for today's episode. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see some more, and I will see you guys in the next one.
This a free-for-all before we fall. This a free-for-all before we fall. Some L's, but I guess you can't win them all. Getting busy, been so busy, but always keep it